other than the JFAC Jumbo, we talked about a long list of legislation this week. So let's take a look at a lot of the things that we covered right now. And of course, this week we focused on 9 different bills, including 4 in the Senate. That involves child safety filters on smart devices, mandatory election guides, campaign donation reporting, and expanding contraception to 6-month prescription in Idaho. We also covered 5 bills in the Idaho House, and that includes expanding the license plate expiration date, artificial intelligence deepfakes in elections, gender definitions, adding fentanyl to the mandatory minimum sentence, and cannibalism. Yep. So what's going on with all the legislation? Well, on Fridays, we like to tell you all about it in a legislative wrap.
The bill would add significant complexity for businesses and would create additional confusion at the point of purchase.
Monday, we did a quick and dirty Senate committee wrap, starting with Senate Bill 1253, requiring smartphone and tablet manufacturers to turn on the existing filters at activation for Idaho's kids, but only for browsers and search engines. This is so kids can't access inappropriate content like pornography. But something we've heard before, parents want to decide for themselves what's best. Senate Bill 1253 was passed with a do-pass recommendation. It's currently waiting for its 3rd reading.
And everybody would be treated the same for campaign finance contributions.
Senator Scott Herndon wants to change Idaho law so any election donation dollar amount needs to have a name attached to it. Current law says that donations less than $50 can go anonymous, but Senate Bill 1218 would change that. Some say they already report every dollar they get, so this isn't necessary. Senate Bill 1218, it passed committee, but failed on the Senate floor 12-22 with 1 lawmaker absent. So for now, it appears it's dead. It turns out Idaho lawmakers do listen to Boise State's public policy survey.
The most well-received question on the public policy survey this year was voters saying they would like a voter guide.
That's right. Senate Bill 1273 would require the Secretary of State's office to make a voter guide for primary and general elections. The bill is currently in the Senate State Affairs Committee. Monday, we also talked about House Bill 413, which eliminates the requirement to replace your license plate every 10 years, just as long as those plates are still reflective and readable at 75 feet away, which would save taxpayers more than $1 million per year. House Bill 413 passed the House almost unanimously.
I wish Representative Burts was here so we could tease him.
The bill is currently in the Senate Transportation Committee, and we know what you're thinking. Yes, county designators will stay on license plates. Maybe 5th time's the charm for Senate Bill 1234, proposing to regulate insurance companies so they reimburse a 6-month period of birth control at a time instead of just 3.
And so the most effective way to reduce abortion rates is to prevent unintended pregnancy.
Senate Bill 1234 passed the Senate 19-16 and is now headed to the House.
This doesn't do anything to make anybody's life any better. It only harms.
Representative Julianne Young's House Bill 421, proposing to make the word gender mean the same as sex when referring to male or female, it passed the House on Wednesday and is now in the Idaho Senate State Affairs Committee. The controversial House Bill 406 is just 18 yay votes away from the governor's desk. The bill adds fentanyl to the list of drugs in Idaho that carry a mandatory minimum sentence. And it creates the crime of drug-induced homicide, which means if you give anyone a Schedule I drug, and that includes heroin or cocaine or fentanyl, and it kills that person, even if it's an accident, the bill wants to prosecute a homicide.
Drug trafficking and human trafficking are interconnected. That ultimately will be the individuals that will be penalized.
If they're a victim, they're a victim. Harsh reality is if you don't do that, they stay out there until either they die or they kill someone else.
The Senate Judiciary and Rules Committee passed the bill to the Senate floor just yesterday with a do-pass recommendation for the whole body.
RS 31078, cannibalism.
Yep, you heard it. Representative Heather Scott is proposing to add a line to the law already banning cannibalism that says anyone who willfully provides said flesh and blood to another person to ingest without that person's knowledge or consent is also guilty of cannibalism. Representative Scott doesn't want human composting in Idaho, but also proposed the bill because she saw part of the food show claiming to have fed judges human flesh without their knowledge. Thing is, it was a prank show.
It's David Spade's new prank show.
The bill is referred to the House Judiciary Rules and Administration for printing, and that's a legislative wrap.